know, this American, they're going to think this is very funny. That's going to put him on the therapist couch. Yeah, really funny. That was my first exposure to zombies. And that's, as they say in Freudian terms, leaves a mark. Moving on, anyone else? Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. What do you think of your dad's work and vice versa, and how does it inspire you?
What do I think of my dad's work? I think it's wonderful. Yes, hooray, what does my dad think of my work?
Yeah.
He's glad I have a job. Anyone else? Yes?
What would be your zombie hand-to-hand combat weapon of choice?
That is so weird. You know, I do a lot of these things, and sometimes I get asked questions that completely are like out of left field, that no one ever asks. Like one young lady once, I'm not kidding, actually said to me, at what point will it be okay to hobble old people and leave them as bait? Wow, okay. So sometimes I get asked questions like that. But I always get asked, what is my weapon of choice? Well, your weapon has to be from your environment, okay? Because it also has to function as a tool. Like, I'm in LA, I'm in an urban environment that is threatened by earthquakes. So therefore, in my zombie/earthquake kit, I carry a crowbar. Because I don't know if you know this, it's a true story. In earthquakes, your house can shift on its foundation and the door can get jammed in the frame. So they always encourage you to keep a crowbar so you can pry the door open. So I have a crowbar, which I can also brain a zombie with if I have to. That's what I would use. Now, where are you from? Where do you live?
Jacksonville.
All right, you live up in Jacksonville. I'm guessing, I've never been there, but I'm guessing it's green.
Yes.
All right, big shocker. Okay, I'm guessing it's wet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably would want a machete. I'm guessing that would be your weapon of choice. And if someone comes up to you and is like, hey, you should have a halberd.
It's great when you're short.
Yeah, she's not giving that one up. So that's what you need. Anyone else? Yes.
What was your answer to the old people question?
What was my answer to I'll tell you exactly what I do. Whenever someone asks a question like that, I literally have them stand up, and I said, listen, everybody, I'm not going to tell her what to do, what not to do. But so you all know, if you're recruiting for your zombie group and you're considered old, which, I mean, she was like 18, so old could be like 19. I said, she's going to hobble you and leave you as bait. Because that's what I believe. I believe, I'm not going to tell you all what to do, but if you say something, I'm having you stand up, and I want everyone to know what's waiting for them if they bring you on their team. Like, literally, we all know by now that poor Penny is just beating that horse to death with a halberd. And literally, that's actually going to be fun. You're all going to be running, and she's going to be trying to get through a doorway. Like, I'm coming! Oh, put it this way. Moving on.
Hike drill.
Yes, sir.
Is your intention for the book to make it into a movie? And also, how did the process of writing the book turn into a movie?
Okay, that's a two-part question. Did I ever intend to be making a movie? No. I write books. If I wanted to be made into a movie, I would have written a movie script and tried to pitch it and have it be rejected. No, I wrote a book. And so that's question number one. Question number two, can I tell you about the process? Okay. Hello, Max Brooks. Yes, we want to try and turn your book into a movie. Oh my God, that's amazing. We'll see you in 7 years. Click. And that was it. And then you show up in 7 years, and hey, wow, it's a big Times Square, and here we go, and I'm sitting here, and what? Oh my God. Wow, that was 28 days later on steroids. So that was pretty much the process. And I will tell you, it was actually easier to watch because it was so different. Because as I said before, if it was closer and there were my characters like doing stuff that I wouldn't do, I'd be like, hey, that's not cool. Jerry Lane would never say that. Well, I didn't invent Jerry Lane. So as far as I'm concerned, Jerry Lane can say and do whatever he wants. I don't know how the other screenwriters felt. There was like 74 of them. So we shall see. Now, I will tell you that I did have a buddy who actually helped me through this emotionally. Do you guys ever watch a show called The Walking Dead? Yeah, woo! Do you guys know who created the show? Who said Robert Kirkman? Robert Kirk. All right. Who said it? stand up. What's your name? Joe. Joe? Joe. All right, Joe. Sit down. School's about to start. Okay, Joe? Once upon a time, there was a man from Kentucky named Robert Thaddeus Kirkman. And he wrote a comic book called The Walking Dead. And it was good. And Kirkman saw that it was good, said that it was good, and it was good. Real good. Okay? But here's the problem. Not many people read comic books. Believe me, I know, I write them too. See, I'm sure you read them, right? Yay for Rom the Space Knight. Now, you and I, as comic book geeks, we think that we're in the majority, right? We're like the Tea Party Fox News crowd. We're like, we're in the majority. No, we're not. We're in a freaking bubble. Okay? So the crowd was reading it, and it was good. Then came a man named Frank Darabont, who made, I don't know, movies like Shawshank Redemption. Okay? And he said, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to turn it into a TV show. And he did. He brought his cast, his crew, his writing staff, and wow! He made this amazing national show that is a phenomenon. And to reward him, AMC fired him. Yes, they did. Now, obviously, if it were up to me, I would have given him a statue on the mall in Washington, D.C., next to Dr. Martin Luther King. It'd be like Dr. King like this. Then there'd be Frank. So, when the trailer came out for World War Z, you guys remember that? Yeah, that boy, that thing, whoo, yeah, it's just running. But you're asking me to leave my family. Don't pretend your family's exempt. I saw it. And my wife said to me, why don't you call Frank? Frank will know what to say. And I did. And I emailed Frank, and we were buddies by this point. And I said, hey, listen, there's a movie and there's a book. And Frank said, you know what, buddy? Look, you have your book. And your book is pure, and nobody can mess with that. And if anybody wants to know your side and your vision, they can just read your book. He said, it's not like you're a screenwriter where your script has been totally mangled by a director, and then everyone thinks that's your vision. ... Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Love, Frank. Now, here's how cool Frank is. Here's what an awesome dude he is. Frank then passed on my email to a friend of his, who then wrote back to me and said, hey, Frank, tell your friend, Max, number one, I read his book and I liked it, and number two, no matter what happens with the movie, it's going to give his book a second life, and people will be reading his book that have never even heard of it had it not been for the movie. So no matter what happens, that's always a good thing. All the best, Stephen King. So if you love Frank Darabont, if you want to thank him for The Walking Dead, check out Mob City. That's premiering on TNT in December, and it looks freaking awesome. So that's my story about the movie, and that's my story about Frank. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Do you have any desires or plans to maybe make like a miniseries or something that's just like the book?
And good?
And good. Do I have any plans? Yeah, plans are great. They're a dime a dozen, believe me. Yeah, David Cross, cover your child's ears. A comedian, David Cross, talks about how people get off the bus in LA every month with plans. And next month they go to like, please don't get it in my eye. Yeah, that's LA. I know it's crude, but it's LA. That's how things work. Plans are great, but the truth is to do a TV show, to do anything that doesn't involve actual writing, yeah, you actually need like other people. So the truth is, my new comic book, The Extinction Parade, we are in negotiations right now with a production company. So we'll see. I mean, that's just, we're not negotiating with a network, with a company to maybe adapt it and then pitch it to networks. But that's a long road. Right now, all I'm doing is just writing and hoping that you like it. So anyone else? We talk to you. Yes?
Do you think zombies are becoming less scary?
Do I think zombies are becoming less scary? Well, I think it depends on the zombies that we're talking about. Are we talking about the kind that kill and eat you and are vicious and a brutal plague that not only kill or eat you, but chews away the threads of society, that causes things like starvation, dehydration, disease, accidents, that unleashes neighbor upon neighbor, that causes just a global catastrophe? Those zombies or warm bodies? moving on. Yes.
What's,
No, you first and then him.
what's the one piece of advice that you would give to people hoping to become writers? And what was the different aspects of writing a comic book and a novel?
Okay, 2 questions. What would be my advice to young writers? Go write something. That's it. Just go freaking write it. And now in the world of self-publishing and digital self-publishing, you have no excuse. Okay? I was just saying to this other young lady earlier, but the same thing. The problem is, now you can all be published. Yay, that's the good part. You don't have to depend on the man. You don't have to depend on publishing houses. All right, you can all do it. That's the good part. The bad part is, now you can all be criticized. All right, you can't blame the man. Now you all get a chance to go self-publish on Amazon and have some dude give you 1 star and say, epic fail. So if you're ready for that, go out and write something. As far as writing comic books versus regular books, oh my God, it's completely different. When you write a book, you only put in as much information as you want, whereas a comic book, you need to tell the artist everything they see. And so therefore, it's a lot of back work, which you'll never get credit for, which is fine. The artist should be the star. That's the comic book. It's a visual medium. You also have to be ready for a lot less people reading it. And if you're okay with that, that's great. It's a smaller medium, and that's totally fine. Now, your question.
In zombie entertainment films and the like, you frequently see attack dogs or other animal helpers. What do you think of that concept? Do you think they could be useful in an actual situation?
Oh, you're saying useful as what? Food?
Maybe attack dogs, whatever.
Attack dogs? So you're thinking you're going to train a zombie attack dog? Well, I think it depends on the kind of dog. Do you own a dog?
Yes.
Oh, what kind of dog?
Golden retriever?
Oh, well then you're fine. Yeah, golden retrievers, they're great. They're not so bright. They're not. I mean, that's what makes them such good dogs. They're like, hey, yeah. So you could be like, what's his name?
Tiffany.
So Tiffany. So you can say, hey boy, hey Tiffany, yeah, go attack. And Tiffany, she's sweet and loyal and dumb, and she'll be like, yeah, all right, I'll totally do that. Yeah, okay, and go. Okay, I own a miniature dachshund, which is really smart. Okay, and also really anti-Semitic, I think. She's German, so if I was like, Maisie, go, attack, Maisie would just look at me and be like, you can go to hell. You know, what have you done for me lately? So I hope that answers your question. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
You could team up with any historical figure to combat a zombie apocalypse. Who would it be and why?
Oh my God. See, all right. What's your name?
Antonio.
All right. See, Antonio, you're not married, are you? No, of course you're not. You don't have kids, right? No, of course you don't. See, you're young and single, and you still have the notion of choice. Okay? So you're still thinking about, oh, who would I have in my zombie group? Yeah, because I can choose that, right? No, I'm married with kids. With 1 kid, well, no, I have 3 if you count the 2 dogs. So I'm not a volunteer, I'm a draftee. Okay, my group is already there. It's me, my wife, my son, Maisie the dachshund, Milo the Bichon Poodle mix, my dad, and his friend Carl Reiner. And that's pretty much our group. And that's it. There was a question in the way back.
What would you feel about using a baseball or a softball bat?
What would I feel about using a baseball and a softball bat? Well, I think it depends. What is it made of? Aluminum, wood, or Nerf? And someone's like, Nerf, yeah! Yeah! All right, what's your name? John, stand up, buddy. All right, just so you all know, that's his choice, okay? So when they attack, and you're all gonna be like, come on, we gotta go. And he's like, Tiffany, attack. And John's like, hey, stand aside. Yeah. So I think the question is, what would it be made out of? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about your upcoming projects like the Extinction?
All right, Extinction Parade, I wanted to talk about another species. Because I had written so much, it's a zombie outbreak, but it's not from the point of view of humans. Because I've written so much about humans and sort of how they would survive, I thought, what about another species? What about a species that has a whole other set of rules, a whole other biology, a whole other psychology. Vampires. Yes, and not the kind that sparkle. Because I wanted to talk about the pitfalls of privilege. I actually wanted to talk about a species that's at the top of the food chain. Because when I was growing up, I don't know about all of you, but when I was growing up, everybody wanted to be a vampire because they were cool and they had superpowers. Yeah, and they were sexy and awesome, and yeah, whoosh, vampires. What I saw when I looked at vampires was get a job. Because to me, look, remember what I talked about before about how we specialized and how, we built all this? Well, we built all this because we were in the middle of the food chain, okay? We spent 9/10 of our evolution doing this. What the hell was that? That's us, okay? Get away from everything you've seen. Neil Armstrong and Elvis and Dr. King. No. This is us. What the hell was that? And because we were such slim jims for other animals, we adapted. We got up every day and we had to struggle and fight and scratch and we had to organize. We had to adapt. We had to learn from each other. We had to prioritize. We had to do all these mental, psychological, emotional things to build a survival mechanism so we could claw our way up the food chain. Now, what if we were at the top of the food chain? What if there was a species that had all these amazing gifts, that had never had to struggle, that had never known fear, that had spent hundreds of years just sucking our blood, literally, like the parasites that they are? What if they were, essentially, biological aristocracy? How would they survive when their one food source is being eaten out from under them? Could they adapt? They have no history of adaptation. Could they organize? They have no history of that. Could they put in a hard night's work? They have no history of that either. Literally, when you are robbed of that survival mechanism by struggle, and that's what I firmly believe. I believe that anybody who makes it in later life has done it because they've had a rough time in the beginning, and they've learned to compensate for that. You never read the biography of someone famous and important, which starts out with, I had an awesome childhood. No, it's all compensating for weaknesses. And if they never had to compensate, they'd be in trouble. Because look, there's one or two people here who are about my age. Incidentally, you guys know that your school has a zombie plan, right? All right, well, the guy who invented it is Doug the Iceman. He's sitting in the back, looks a little bit like Peter Ustinov. And Doug will tell you, because we're roughly similar age groups, bad stuff happens to you. And it's going to happen at some point in your life. And if you don't have bad stuff happen to you in your 20s, it's going to happen in your 50s. So that's the point of the Extinction Parade, is could these vampires, soft parasites who've had such an easy ride the whole time, could they truly adapt? And there you got it. So, yay for the Kardashians. Moving on. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Yes, Antonio. We're back to where we were. Yes. You weren't? Who was? Oh, that's sorry. I got you guys mixed up. There you go, both wearing glasses. Trust me, LASIK works. I used to have these big Morrissey glasses. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, who's the first person that believed in your writing? And I know it's hard.
What, other than my mom? Because isn't that supposed to be the first person? What do you mean? Who's the first person who said, wow, you can write. I'd like to hire you?
Yes, how would you like to hire me?
Oh, the first person who hired me is the first guy who fired me, Lorne Michaels.
Oh.
Yeah, he hired me for Saturday Night Live. I wrote for SNL. Yeah. Yay. Until they fired me. No, that's all right. That's a good look. They're supposed to fire me. I would have fired me because I'm not meant to do that. Look, there's a culture at SNL, and it's a culture of the writer's room where you sit around and you're just like, oh, well, this would be funny, that would be funny. That's not how I operate. And I didn't know that till I got there. I mean, I did know it, but it didn't really be rammed home until I actually got there. I'm a solitary dude, and I like to think about things like, how would you survive a zombie attack? That doesn't really translate well to things like Dick in the Box, which was a very funny sketch, and which I could never write. So yeah, the first guy to believe in me was the first guy to boot me to the curb, and thank God he did, because he taught me how to struggle. And had I never struggled, I wouldn't have been ready for all the other stuff that came my way. So thank you, Comrade Michaels. Anyone else? Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Steph.
Hello.